working great on our local machines. What if we deploy it? We've learned how to deploy static pages before, right? With GitHub Pages, we had to create a GH Pages branch and then just put whatever we want to deploy in there. So what do we have here? If we look at our project, pretend that isn't there. We have public, we have source with a bunch of stuff in it. That build shouldn't be there on yours. So I'll just get rid of it. Well, this doesn't look like what should actually be sent to the browser, right? Maybe it should just be what's in source. But that's all our JS with like JSX and all that other stuff the browsers don't understand. If you look at your server that's running, it says, note that the development build is not optimized. To create a production build, use yarn run build or npm run build. So let's do that. Let's run yarn build or npm run build. And it's running React scripts build and creating an optimized production build. Why is it running React scripts build? If you look at your package JSON, in addition to all of these dependencies, it also lists a few scripts. This is what defines npm start or yarn start. It runs React scripts start, and React scripts is one of our dev dependencies. Dev dependency because you don't actually need it to run the app. You just need it to develop the app. And a bunch of others, one of which is build. Okay, so it finished. And it says, the project was built assuming it is hosted at the server root. In other words, whatever.com/nothing. Which when it's running on localhost is the case. It's just localhost 3000. To override this, specify the home page in your package.json. For example, add this to build it for GitHub Pages. Well, that's exactly what we want to do. GitHub Pages. So let's copy this. And in our package.json, right under name, I'm going to paste that. Make sure you have the comma there. And it should be your username.github.io, XTBC17S2, / the name of the app, the name of the repo, note herder. Thank you. XTBC17S2. So why was this necessary? Because look, when you're on GitHub Pages, it's not at the server root, is it? It's at / your project name. So your links internally are going to be broken unless you do this. So having done this, let's run build again. Yarn build or npm run build. And now, since we actually have GitHub Pages URL in there, the message changes a little bit. This project was built assuming it is hosted at / note herder, not nerf herder. You can control this with the homepage field in your package.json. The build folder is ready to be deployed. To publish it at that URL, run yarn add dev gh pages and add the following script in your package.json. So let's break that down a little bit. First, the build folder is ready to be deployed. So now you have a new folder, build. And inside there is the version that your browser can understand. Notice there's an index.html, which has been minified, so it's not very easy to read. But notice there's some script tags at the bottom. Oh, there's one. We didn't put that there. It's loading static JS main.something.js. So what the heck is that? In our build folder, we have the static folder. In it, we have a JS folder with main something.js and main something.js.map. Let's look at main something.js. Oh, that's pretty. That's nice and readable. Who knows what this is? And yeah, it's minified, right? It's been made as small as it can possibly be. Who knows what JavaScript is in here? Absolutely all of the JavaScript that this app requires to run. Everything we've ever imported. So React is part of this. All of our components are part of this. And they've been rewritten as ES5 and with the shortest possible variable names and so on. So this is all the JavaScript that's required for the entire project. All of our dependencies. Everything that we've ever pulled in with an import statement. So it all gets joined into a single JavaScript file that, according to our build script here, is 136K. I bet we had a lot more than that at the start. 1.3K for main.css. Let's look at main.css. Build static main CSS. Oh, it's all on one line. Cool, with no spaces. And that is absolutely all of the CSS files that we imported. So when we're writing the thing, we can put them in separate files to be easy to manage. But when they're actually sent to the browser, they're all joined into one. And they've been transformed so that the browser can understand them. So that's happening every time we run yarn start or npm start. It's kind of doing that all in memory so that the browser has something it can understand. But to deploy it, we would need to actually create files for this and put them somewhere. So yeah, we could create our own GHPages branch and just copy everything from build over there and remove everything else. But that's kind of hard to keep track of. So notice what else the build script told us. To publish it there, run yarn add --dev GHPages. So if you have yarn, that's the command. I'll show you the other command here in a moment. Yarn add --dev GHPages. So yarn add is the command for adding a dependency, downloading it from node modules, or downloading it from npm, sticking it in node modules, and adding it to package.json. The --dev means it will be added in this dev dependencies section, GHPages, instead of the regular dependencies, because the GHPages scripts, we don't need that to actually run this thing. That doesn't need to get deployed to the server. GH-pages. So for npm, that would be npm install --save-dev gh-pages. So if you're using npm instead of yarn, that's the command. But that wasn't all it told us to do. Run this and add the following script in your package.json. So in the scripts section, we have two more scripts to add. Pre-deploy and deploy. So after eject here, pre-deploy and deploy. And then it says you can run yarn run deploy or npm run deploy. And when you run deploy, because there's another script named pre-deploy, it'll run that automatically. So we never need to run build again. Deploy will run build for us. And then it will run ghpages-d build. Let's see what happens. Yarn run deploy, not build. How about I save my package.json first? Yarn run deploy. And we see it's running build, creating an optimized production build. And it says it's done. So it should be published right here, where it said in our homepage in package.json. Let's load it up. Holy smokes, it's my sign-in button. Neat. Now, the sign-in button isn't going to work just yet. But since that's there, you may as well go to your repo and remember, you can edit this description up here, paste in the website. That way it's very easy to see the running copy. In my case, that actually redirected here. So I'm going to go ahead and put that there. But yours should be the github.io thing. And now you can just click here to see the live version that's actually deployed. So now every time you make a change to your app, if you want that to be reflected in the GitHub Pages version, you're going to have to run yarn run deploy or npm run deploy again to keep that other branch in sync. So let's open up our console. Going to ignore this for right this second. And click sign in. Opens up the pop-up, but then it immediately says, this domain is not authorized to run this operation. Add it to the OAuth redirect domains list in the Firebase console. Auth section, sign in method tab. So those are pretty explicit instructions. So here's the domain it was trying. For you, it's probably something .github.io. Go to the Firebase console auth section sign in method tab. Auth section, sign in method tab. And remember, we have our sign in providers up here, and then right under that, we have authorized domains. So it's not allowed to authenticate against this Firebase application except from these two places. So let's add another one. Let's add the one that it was trying, which for you is going to be different. Okay, having done that, what happens if I try to sign in? Let's refresh. Hit sign in. And now it seems to be trying to do something. And it signed me in. You probably have to hit authorize first. And look, even though this is running off of a different server, I still have my stuff back because it's not coming from local storage. It's actually coming from our database. So Firebase calls itself a real-time database because it syncs that data in milliseconds. So it is almost instantaneous, which makes it really good for things like chat apps as well. All right, we have it deployed. Victory is ours. Ship it. Hey, we just did. So add configure GH pages for deployment. Add and configure. Now we just have to run npm run deploy or yarn run deploy. And life is good. It did push, right?